Welcome back to the Second and Short podcast, where the entire playbook is open. I'm Josiah.
I'm Christian.
I'm Hayden.
I'm Cooper.
And for those of you who like to listen to audio only, the link for the Spotify will be in the description.
Yeah, so we have a fun episode, a little bit different. Football season's over. We're in a little bit of a dry spell waiting for the combine. But to get in the draft spirit, we've decided to redraft the 2023 draft. So just some background, we're going off of the original picks. So anything that was happened transaction-wise, trades, pre-draft night is there. So for instance, the Panthers do have the number 1 overall pick, not the Bears, but the Eagles are picking number 10. They're not picking number 9 because that was a trade that happened draft night. So obviously some things have changed. Probably the number 1 overall pick. I've randomly assigned everyone a team to pick. So we're going to start off right away with Christian picking for the Panthers.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. We're going to have to go CJ Stroud instead of Bryce Young here. I wish I could pick someone else, but I think it makes more sense for Panthers because they need a quarterback with that atrocious roster.
Josie, who do we have next?
Cooper is picking for the Texans at number 2.
At number 2, I think a lot of people would expect me to go with Bryce Young, but I'm actually going to go with Anthony Richardson. I just see a lot more with his mobility and his athleticism at this pick.
You think Bryce Young? Like you thought you were going to pick Bryce Young?
Maybe not.
Okay,
Maybe not now.
All right. So next up, we have the Cardinals number 3. Josie?
Yeah, so for me, I honestly thought that this guy might actually still go at number 2 to his team. But I mean, if I'm the Cardinals, I just lost JJ Watt. You know, I lost Chandler Jones. Like, I need an edge rusher. I'm still going Will Anderson here. Like, I'm still taking this pick even to the Cardinals. Like, I could have gone corner. I could have gone something like that. Like, no, I'm sticking with Will Anderson at this pick.
Nice. Cooper, you're back up with Seattle.
For Seattle, I like the cornerback route that they went, but do I think Devin Witherspoon is the best corner in the draft? No. I'm going to go with Joey Porter Jr. here.
Wow.
I really know.
You can tell we're a podcast full of youngsters. Top 5.
I didn't think of that thing.
So you're highlighting him down lower?
Yeah, I'll highlight down low, just keeping track on our draft board. And he's our first guy from not the first round to be selected. Joey Porter, I had a feeling he would go in the first round. I was actually certain, but top 5.
I thought he was over Forbes in them. I thought he was going to go over them for sure.
I mean, if you look at it, if we're going off of Cooper's analysis of best rookie corner,
like the second best.
I would say he was the best rookie corner.
I mean, Gonzalez didn't get a lot of time to prove himself, but also he was injured.
Yeah.
I think
Witherspoon.
Witherspoon.
You don't know if he's going to bounce back from the injury.
We'll see. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm up.
Yep, we have Christian picking for the Lions.
I think you got to go Jalen Carter. I mean, they have McNeil, who's a good D tackle, but I mean, people keep talking about that D line where they could just run stop, and Aiden Hutchinson barely got over 10 sacks. It was like the second to last game he got it. I think Aiden's good, but they need someone else, and I think that Jalen and McNeil together would be amazing for them, and then they just need to find another edge guy who is at least decent.
All right, moving on to pick number 7. The Raiders selected Tyree Wilson. Josie, who are you going with?
So honestly, what I'm relying on here is kind of like, I was going to go best corner available. I'm still kind of leaning to that because I think that player might still be on the board, which I'm a little surprised about. Alternatively, I think that the O-line is just atrocious. So like the fact that a lineman hasn't come off the board yet kind of makes me want to lean towards taking Paris Johnson, but I'm so tired of hearing about how the Raiders secondary sucks. I'm going to go with Devin Witherspoon here.
All right.
I know who you would have picked if you had the Raiders there. Your dream scenario you wanted?
Oh, no. Christian's referring to Bryce Young, but after his rookie season, that's not who I would go with. I'm up for the first time. The Falcons. The original pick was Bijan Robinson, and looking at it real quick.
Did we skip over the Colts? Or who did you take with the Colts, Hayden, at 4?
Yeah, you didn't pick.
Oh.
Yeah, you didn't pick a 4.
All right.
See that.
Well, then I'm going to go with the guy who the Colts said they would have gone with if Anthony Richardson wasn't there. I'm going to go with Will Levis. And I'd go quarterback.
That would be insane if that happened.
I'm glad we didn't have to go back and change all of our answers.
And then, so Falcons, and you know what? I'm going to end up going with... I told you guys to be ready, and I'm not ready myself. I'm going to go Christian Gonzalez. So we have 3 corners already in the top 10.
Has that ever even happened before? I don't know. That seems like a lot, though.
It was a cornerback rich
Oh,
draft.
there were 2 last year because Stingley won top 10 and Sauce, right? Well, 2 years ago. Is that right? They
Yeah.
were
Back
both
to
top
back
10.
because Stingley went.
So I don't think there was a third though.
Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn, were they both top 10?
Yeah, JC,
they were close.
JC was
8.
because of Carolina and Surtain was Surtain
Yeah.
I feel like, sir, yeah, I think he was.
Parsons was like 9 or 11, right?
I think Parsons was 11.
Christian.
On the clock with the Bears.
There's 2 guys here. I'm between Bijan or a receiver, but I think I'm gonna go because people just keep talking about not many weapons still after they added all that stuff. I think I'm gonna go Puka Nacua here.
All right. So Puka lasted pretty long, probably the second best rookie this year. All
I think
right.
it's just team need more than anything else why he fell.
Yeah.
All right. So I have Philadelphia.
I have Eagles. Jay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you
right.
have
You're
Titans.
right. Bijan's still on the board.
He is, and that's like if we're going back to draft time, we don't know that DeAndre Swift is going to have the beginning to the season that he did. It's just there's some needs in
Defense.
Philly. I also think, defensively, like I think that
Just fell apart.
this year showed that their corner room is a little suspect. I mean, obviously they took Keely Ringo, I think in the 3rd or 4th round this
Fourth
year.
round. I mean,
4th round.
he could still be good. But yes, Slave.
Yeah,
fell
I mean,
off this year.
I mean, if 3 corners hadn't gone already, I might take a corner here. But based on need, I'm probably going to go with, I am going to go offensive side of the ball. I don't think Bijan falls farther than this, just with the upside that he has. Like was touted as a generational back. He doesn't fall past this point, regardless of if you have a need, if you have a bigger need. So.
All right, so that concludes the top 10. Just a little bit of a recap. The Panthers are going to obviously take CJ Stroud this time around instead of Bryce Young. The Texans still do end up with a franchise quarterback. They snag Anthony Richardson. The Cardinals go Will Anderson, something that they were kind of expected to do if they weren't going to trade out. Will Levis jumps up from the 2nd round to the Colts. The Seahawks go with Joey Porter Jr. instead of Devin Witherspoon. Maybe one of the surprises of our top 10 so far. The Lions go snag Jalen Carter, best player available, instead of Paris Johnson, who that was the trade with Arizona. And then Raiders go Devin Witherspoon, another guy who kind of dropped instead of Tyree Wilson. Bijan goes to the Falcons, but instead this time around we're going to go Christian Gonzalez. So 3 corners off the board. Bears grab Puka Nacua, a weapon for Justin Fields and maybe Caleb Williams this year. And then Eagles don't let Bijan drop any further. He goes number 10. All right, so pick number 11. At the time, it was Peter Skoronski, the guard. He's still available right now, but he was my guy all of draft season, and he lived up to the hype. I'm going to go Zay Flowers. So quarterback, I'm just rolling with Malik Willis and Ryan Tannehill. Obviously, Bryce Young's still there, but Zay Flowers, I've compared him to AB since last year.
Cooper.
Taking the 2nd pick.
So for the Lions here, I was thinking receiver if
Hold on,
Puka.
don't say
No.
it. You have the Texans.
The Texans.
Oh,
'cause the trade
Texans.
didn't happen
Yeah.
in this scenario.
Okay, so Texans. So I was thinking Puka Nacua if he was still available. It would have given given Anthony Richardson another weapon, which is who they picked here. But I'm gonna go with Jahmyr Gibbs here. Same pick as he was in the actual draft. So Jahmyr Gibbs.
Just this time around going with Houston instead of Detroit.
So I have the Packers. I mean, at this time, we didn't know anything about that team. Like, they all developed pretty well for what?
Luke, say excuse me.
Before did a really well job with all those guys. In the draft, I was originally thinking tight end. I mean, the guys they drafted actually played decent. They could be a great tight end in the future. I'm gonna go with Sam Laporta here.
All right, so another second round guy jumps into the first round during our redraft. Bryce Young, number 1 overall pick, still available. New England, I mean, you have to consider them. I mean, Mac Jones, clearly not the answer after last season, and don't even get me started on Bailey Zappi. But also, it's New England. They kind of, there's holes all over that roster. They need some more talent on the defensive side. Christian Barrymore is there already, and they just cut Lawrence Guy. I'm going to go snag my guy at a pick, Elijah Cansey. I think you pair him up with Christian Barrymore, and all of a sudden you have a pretty good duo on that interior D-line.
I was going to say Buccaneers stole him late, too. He went like 19th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Jets, who in real life took Will McDonald because the Steelers jumped them to go get Broderick Jones. Josie?
I mean, honestly, like I am going to go with a tackle here. Like you have to, like, I don't think that choosing a tackle here prevents a Rodgers injury, but it just like the Rodgers injury showed that they need to go out and get a guy. Like, I don't think Skoronski is the guy here. I do think you go tackle. Obviously, Skoronski played tackle. He's played both, but as much as I want to be a Yinzer and take Broderick Jones, I'm going to take Paris Johnson.
You're not going to pick him.
I'm going to take Paris Johnson. I think that they're 1A and 1B as far as who are the best tackle in this draft because, I mean, one's a left tackle, one's a right tackle. Left tackle is a more important position. So, like, I'm going to personally in this one go with Paris Johnson.
Broderick moved all over, though. He was right and left.
He did, yeah.
I think
he can play both.
I think
Paris
they're both
is fine,
natural
right?
left. I think they're both natural left.
Yeah. But I think that, I mean, Paris Johnson only gave up like 1 or 2 sacks this whole season, and he played the entire season. He was a day one starter. Like, I think Broderick Jones is the future of tackle at Pittsburgh, but like, he didn't even start until like week 8.
Which was stupid. We should
Yeah.
have started all of our rookie guys.
Yeah,
right away.
absolutely. So like, I just think that based on starting right away, we know what he's going to be. Like, I think Broderick Jones' ceiling might be higher, but Paris Johnson is currently better.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some good linemen there still.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that was like that was the first lineman to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huge fall. Probably interesting to see that. I don't know the last time that happened, especially at tackle. Next up are the commies. Cooper, who are you picking? Emmanuel Forbes is still available.
I was going to go with Tank Dell here, actually, but because I was assuming Josie was going to take Broderick Jones at that last pick, but I am going to go Broderick Jones here.
All right. So 2 tackles in a row. The Steelers are up, and it's a podcast full of Yinzers. I'm going to be picking Broderick Jones, obviously would have been a heavy favorite for that. Also looking around some wide receivers. The Steelers need some more talent on the offensive side. Bryce Young still available if you don't believe in Kenny Pickett. DeJuan Jones had a stellar season at tackle if I want to go there. But
I feel like that Bryce
Are
Young
you really
pick
not
again.
picking the guy who I'm thinking here? I know you're between 2 guys. I know who you want.
so when I picked Zay Flowers, that was one of my draft darlings. One of my other draft darlings are available.
yeah.
And-
Cooper.
I don't know how he didn't go in the first round. I thought the Steelers had a chance to pick him twice, but I'm going Brian Branch. If you pair him up with Minka Fitzpatrick,
Yeah.
you have 2 versatile safeties. I was advocating for it in real life, and I'm going to get my dream now.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was going to pick him with the Lions just to keep him still. Lions, they still need a linebacker, which I could go with the guy they originally had, but I don't think I am. Need a tight end. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Kincaid here.
And I think Kincaid, great rookie year. The reason Laporta, you actually are going 2 for 2 on tight ends. Laporta was just on a different level. Like, we knew it was a tight end deep class, but we had no idea those 2 especially would just be instant impact, 2 top 10 tight ends right away.
Yeah, for sure. Next will be my pick. Buccaneers originally took Elijah Cansey. Obviously, he's off the board. I'm going to go with a guy who I don't think was on a lot of people's radars, but honestly had a really good season. I believe he was in the final 5 for defensive rookie of the year. I'm gonna go Kobe Turner here. Same position, similar position, maybe not exactly the same. But I think that the Buccaneers picking a D lineman here was the best situation available. Like, it turned out, I mean, pretty well. Kalijah Kinsey had a pretty decent season, but like, you put Kobe Turner there, and I think that it just even gets better.
No, and the Rams actually snagged 2 guys on the defensive line that nobody really expected much out of, but both of them
Both older
stellar
guys.
rookie years. Byron Young, obviously the other one. Good pick with Kobe Turner. Next up, we have the Seahawks. Originally, they selected Jackson Smith and Jigba. He was the first wide receiver off the board. Kind of an iffy rookie season. Is Cooper going to go in a different direction?
I am indeed going to go in a different direction. I think Bryce Young being the number 1 overall pick, there has to be something there with him. And the Seahawks, with a aging quarterback in Geno Smith, I'm going to go with Bryce Young here for them.
Gonna pick him with the Vikings. We done.
I was wondering how far he was going to drop because obviously there wasn't a ton there this year, but the
It's
dude
also
won a
the-
Heisman.
it's the Panthers,
yeah,
too.
the awful team surrounding him, and he won a Heisman. Like, there's talent there, you can't deny it. I was surprised that I thought he would go top 15-ish. I knew he would drop a little bit just because I don't think any of us are huge fans of him. But obviously a good pick there. The Chargers selected Quinn Johnson. So the first 2 wide receivers off the board were kind of rough. Quinn Johnson had an awful rookie year. Obviously, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are still there. Williams has the injury issues, but Keenan Allen, top-notch performer year after year.
They haven't had great luck drafting wide receivers lately with Mike Williams and
Williams is good. He's just injured.
Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, defense makes sense here. We were just talking about Bryce Young, a talented guy who didn't really live up to expectations his rookie year, but the talent's undeniable. I think Tyree Wilson, the dominant athletic pass rusher, but Josie's already typing. I'm not going to go there.
myself.
I'm going to go with the guy who is probably the best running back this season over Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson.
A-Chain.
I'm going Devin A-Chain.
I was hoping he was going to fall. I really was hoping I was going to get him at the end of the round.
I've never seen a running back like him.
So
like,
electric.
obviously the speed is what stands out, but the guy was just dominant. Him and Raheem Mostert, best running back duo in the league by a mile.
Yeah.
Over the Lions? I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
Lions.
Yes.
By a mile.
I don't
Yes.
know. Lions.
Maybe.
Don't
maybe
give
a
me the
quarter
lines.
of a
Don't give me
mile.
the
They
steal.
both had over 200 rushing yards in that game against the Broncos. That is insane.
Sorry, Broncos.
Dude, the Broncos defense
Broncos
ended up being a
almost
good
made the playoffs.
defense by the end of the year.
Their defense was not
They were
good.
terrible
they
at
had
the time.
Surtain, that's all they had.
They were terrible at the time. They
They
ended
don't
up being
have
a decent
any interior
defense.
D lineman. I don't want to hear it. No.
Don't they
I
have Justin Simmons? No.
I mean, he's a safety.
Yeah,
Christian
he's a
just said
safety. I'm saying interior D line.
Oh,
They don't have
interior D
anyone.
line.
They don't
Okay,
even have
okay,
a
I see.
linebacker, dude.
Well, you said Surtain. You threw out Surtain's name.
I said that's all they had. Simmons isn't that good anymore. I think he's decent, but I'm going to say he's top 5 safety anymore.
All right. Next up, we have the Ravens. This was when the wide receiver kick kind of happened. We had Smith and Jigba, then we had Quinn Johnson, then Zay Flowers, and then Jordan Addison, I believe. Nakua and Flowers off the board. Everyone else is still there. Cooper, who is Baltimore selecting in this redo?
They're going to go with Tank Dell here. I think he is a quick and explosive receiver that the Texans really utilized this season.
Yeah, and since his season ended early, I don't know if he got as much recognition as he deserves, but the dude dominated. He's actually played college at Houston, so local kid. Him and CJ Stroud could be scary for years to come.
What was his injury?
He broke his leg.
Oh. Okay.
I like the way you said that, Christian.
Broke his leg. Pretty sad for my fantasy team.
We got the Vikings. This was the other receiver that we were talking about, Jordan Addison. He is still available, had a solid rookie year. Christian?
Yeah, I'm gonna go either receiver or offensive lineman here, but I'm not. I think that since during this time they have to pay Jay Jettis, so I'm not gonna go no receiver because they also have the tight end they just paid this year. I'm gonna go with Peter Skoronski because I can't believe he dropped this far for how good he is. I mean, it made sense. I would have probably done Darnell Wright. Maybe I was between those two, but they have 2 tackles already that are good for them.
Yeah, I think as a team, and as a team, I mean it, all 4 of us, we might be undervaluing offensive line a little bit, the way these guys are dropping. But Peter Skronsky, definitely a good pick. Has that versatility. Obviously, college tackle, but probably going to be a Pro Bowl level
They need a
guard.
guard.
All right. Next up, we have the Jaguars. Originally, this pick was the Giants selected Deontay Banks. They traded up for him. This is my pick, I believe. And looking at it, I'm going to go with Darnell Wright. I'm going to go snag a tackle. Obviously, Cam Robinson's there. Walker Little's there. Juwan Taylor's there. But none of those guys are superstars. Cam Robinson is solid. This is a guy to kind of shore up Trevor Lawrence. The edge rushers, it's not a great pass rush, but you have Trevon Walker there. You have Josh Allen there. Those are 2 double-digit sack guys. So if you can get them some help in the 2nd or 3rd round, that's going to be fun. I'm going to protect T-Law. Who do we have next,
I have
Josie?
the Giants.
Yeah. Giants, Christian.
So, I mean, this team was a sorry team.
Take a quarterback, dude. Take a quarterback.
I'm not taking a crap quarterback.
Take Jake Moody.
Tommy DeVito. Instead of undrafted, he goes now.
I think like they obviously drafted the receiver later in this draft in real life. I'm going Jordan Addison here. They need a receiver. I mean, they really need everything. Other than
It's not.
Tell me how you really feel about these guys.
they need a corner, but there's no one really there. So yeah, you have to go with the best receiver there. And I can't believe he fell this far.
So earlier when I said I randomly selected teams for each of us, I lied. I completely just chose teams for each of us. I tried to do it strategically. Christian, I know you're a Brian Dable hater. I know you're a Giants hater. So I was curious to see what you would do with the Giants in this redraft.
They will make me a hater after this year.
Why'd you give me the Bills?
I don't have a reasoning for every single one.
All right.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Next up, we have
We know why he gave Josie the Cowboys.
the Cowboys, Mozzie Smith. This is one of the for sure guys who is not going to go in the 1st round for this redraft. Josie, who do they take instead?
This is a tough one for me personally because part of me wants to go on the defensive side of the ball because they had a great start to the season, and then by the end of the year, I think they started to fizzle out quite a bit. Obviously, they had some injuries in the secondary, but you can't really draft based on that because, like, you took Deron Bland in the previous season, and you have Trayvon Diggs. Like, you can't.
Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, you can't predict their injuries, so like you're not going to take a corner at this spot, even if that would potentially have helped them.
Jake Ferguson was going to be good. You got 2.
Yeah, like you don't know that Jake Ferguson's going to be good, but at the same time, like I mean, you have 2 guys that are kind of younger.
Schumacher's there.
Schumacher. Well, he's available, but like
What a dumb pick.
Hendershot, that's the other guy, Peyton Hendershot.
yeah, Payne Hendershot. Honestly, I mean,
Michael Mayer.
I'm going to go with an off-ball linebacker. The only guy that went in the 1st round. That might surprise some of you. I'm going to go with Jack Campbell. Personally,
Need a linebacker.
do they not? How do they not?
No.
I mean,
They have
Logan.
Vander
You have
Esch.
Logan Wilson. Oh, it's
They
the
put, they
Cowboys.
play
I was
like a
saying, I was
sub
moving
line.
forward.
They
You're
play
right.
Madden. They put sub linebacker. They put
No,
safety at middle
the
linebacker.
defense isn't that good. I think Dan Quinn got a lot of credit this year. I think Micah Parsons is just that good. Deron Bland having 6 pick sixes is insane, and then Stephon Gilmore still playing at a high level. I think they kind of got carried by the cream of the top. So
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Yeah. So, I mean, is it too late to change? I actually do have a thought.
Yeah, go
All
ahead.
right, I'm actually gonna go edge. The reason I'm gonna go edge is because
You're going
you need
Nolan
someone. You need someone opposite Micah Parsons, and I think that I'm even blanking on his name because I haven't heard his name said in years. The guy that they paid a huge contract to, their edge guy, who's kind of been underwhelming.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
DeMarcus Lawrence. I don't know why I couldn't remember
You
his
think
name.
he's been underwhelming?
Yes, you never hear his
I
name
thi-
anymore.
I think, but I feel like, you know how people used to talk about Jadeveon Clowney where they're like, oh, it's not about the sacks. Like,
Sure.
he's really getting there. Kind of like the Myles Garrett argument for Defensive Player of the Year, where sacks aren't the most important thing. DeMarcus Lawrence is one of those guys that I actually think it rings true. I think DeMarcus Lawrence, in totality, maybe not as a pass rusher, but just an edge defender, I think he's top 12.
Yeah,
Will McDonald.
might be a reach. I'm going Will McDonald.
Will McDonald?
Yep, that's my edge.
All right. So no off-ball linebackers. Ivan Pace is still
Yeah, I kind of could tell by that pick that you hate them. Like,
No,
it
no,
seems
no.
like
I think that
Hey,
it fills
who?
a need. I said I hate the Cowboys.
Oh. All All right, I am up next.
Omaha.
All right.
All right.
Why do I? All right. I always say all right when Luke says all
is-
right. It's like, and it's an awkward.
right.
It's like,
Well, you say all right, he says Omaha, and then you say all right again.
All right.
yeah.
All right. So this
All right.
game is called. This game is called $1 Million Butt. So I'm gonna say $1 Million Butt.
Oh, okay.
Say the question, and you guys each say if you would take it, like take the money and take whatever punishment or whatever.
Okay.
So first one.
You already know what
For
Eli would do.
5 years. For 5 years, you can only wear shirts, sweaters, and jackets that are 3 sizes too big or too small. $1 million.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't care about how people think about you. Be an independent person.
Just tie it off. Tie the
Yeah.
sweaters off on the side like early 2000s girls.
Oh, yeah. All right, $1 million, but for the rest of your life, every time you hear a dog bark, you poop a little.
No.
No, I'm good.
No, I live with Bear and Scout. They're barking all the time. There'd be crap all over the place.
Well, I mean, the $1 million, you can move out then.
What? So you're telling me to abandon my dogs that I've had for a decade?
For a year.
Earplugs
It's
are
for a year, right? Is that what we said?
No, for the rest of your life.
rest of your life. Anytime.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm good.
Never mind then. Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna do this one.
Okay. $1 million, but every time you forget something, it's gone forever.
Oh, heck.
No.
Objects, not.
People
No.
forget about a significant other.
They're gone. Becca or something someday. If I just lose Becca,
No.
I'll be bad.
That's on that one.
Yeah. Like my phone. You know how often my phone, my wallet. Like
Keys,
yeah,
car.
Car.
you losing your car a lot. Luke?
Bang energy, you get halfway there. You forgot your car.
Free sponsored for Bang Energy.
Anytime you use an object from that point, the entire time you use it, it says its name. So like pencil, pencil, pencil.
Like the pencil is saying pencil.
Yeah, so like,
That'd be pretty cool.
Anytime you use an object, it says its name while you use it
It'll get
For $1
annoying,
million
but I would do it for $1 million.
for the rest of your life.
It would be annoying. As
So if I'm using my hands.
You're going like
What about
Hands,
autonomous,
hands.
though? Like your lungs, like
No,
breathing.
we'll just go like
when you're physically using something,
Yeah,
like not autonomously.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, still no.
I don't know how I feel about this
would
one.
get
I'm gonna go no though.
toilet.
Yeah,
Yeah. You get annoying. Really
toilet
annoying.
paper, toilet paper, toilet paper.
$1 million, but for 1 year, everywhere you go, you're pushed in a baby stroller by an incredibly strong, muscular man wearing a tiny muscle showing outfit.
Yes. Yes.
For 1 year.
Yes.
Yeah,
For 1 year.
I would do it.
Yes.
So like I can't walk at all, or is he taking me there and then I can walk around?
It just says everywhere you go, you're pushed in a baby stroller by an incredibly strong.
So what I think is like once
just
you
think I'm a
arrive at
rich
that
guy
place,
then,
you
yeah.
get
you can
pushed
walk
once.
at the
Scumbag
location,
dude.
but you can't walk when traveling to the
Like from
location.
the car to the
Yeah.
like
Yeah. So from the car to the house, you would be able to walk inside of the house, but
Yeah, yeah.
from like the sidewalk and everything, you would be in a stroller.
Yeah, why not?
Dope.
Why not?
All right, who would the muscular man be? We each
Rock.
choose one. All right, Christian chooses The Rock.
No, it can't be like someone known, because then you might want to do it more, you know?
Joey Swole. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
The nicest guy on TikTok. He calls out people for like toxic gym culture. Toxic gym culture. So, and he's just absolutely jacked.
He juices though.
Oh, absolutely. He does. Yeah. He's got the turtle.
He
hump.
juices and doesn't take that a day off.
Yeah.
He just goes every day.
All right, Christian, you have to change it from The Rock, I guess.
The frick. Is this famous?
Liver King.
That's what
Okay.
Max Andrews.
I was trying to think of somebody from work too. I just couldn't.
Jim.
Jim. Shout out to Jim.
Friend of the show.
Yeah.
Friend of the
I'm gonna.
show, Jim.
This will be a good test to see if he listened this week. He listens every once in a while.
Sure. All right, $1 million, but for the rest of your life, whenever you see a kitchen sponge, you eat it immediately.
Heck no.
I don't think I really ever see a kitchen sponge.
You'd be surprised.
An actual sponge, not like a scrub.
Yeah, we're talking sponge.
Yeah.
So is a scrub daddy? Is that
That's a
the
sponge, yeah.
part, not the. You have to eat the sponge part, not the bristly part.
Can we even digest that? Like, is it gonna?
I don't know. But you also
It'll melt in your stomach acid.
that aisle at the grocery store.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. No, this is one of the more firmer no's for me. I
imagine
think.
they're like trying to plan around that. Be like, yo, hey, I'm gonna come over, but I have this thing.
I can't look at your sink.
Who knows about this? Is it just you?
It doesn't say, but
Because like you know somebody's gonna like get mad at you and then use it to clean the
yeah,
toilet
like,
and bring it to
They
you.
like ship a giant Amazon box.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
You.
I wasn't even thinking about a toilet. I was thinking of like dishes. Now,
Yes.
now it's even more.
I would
That's
say
gonna be a no.
Oh, okay.
kitchen
Kitchen,
sponge.
okay.
But who knows?
I'm like about to throw up when you said toilet.
that, that could have been Aunt Fanny's old sponge that she used back in 1963.
dude.
All right, $1 million, but every time
Wait, Luke, would you have done the kitchen sponge one? You were playing devil's advocate a little bit,
I
so
was just trying to maybe pull you guys.
okay.
$1 million, but anytime you get like a cut at all of your blood comes out, but you don't die.
Like you have to bleed until it's gone and then you get your blood back.
Yeah, like it'll magically all the blood stays on the floor, but you like regenerate.
Oh, so
But you, so you don't die.
That's what I said.
it's not a health thing. It's more of a we have to clean up blood thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or it
great.
could
Then
be a
I'm
cool party trick.
Yeah.
then I'm just if I get a cut, I'm just draining all my blood
I kind of like it.
immediately. Like I'm
think it'd be kinda
forcing
cool.
myself to bleed out so that I don't bleed everywhere.
I kind of like bleeding. Like, when I have like a,
maybe
when I
that's
have
weird,
like
but,
when I have like a scab or
going to the
something, like I
bathtub.
want to pick it because
You're
it's,
sick.
it's like fun.
Like I'm going to the bathtub and I'm gonna like cut my jugular until I bleed out and then I'm gonna stop bleeding. And
Okay,
live.
well, I don't think that's.
No, that's exactly what that hits the parameters of what he's saying.
Why are you cutting your jugular?
Yeah, seriously.
It's like an accidental cut. You're not just like cutting.
Like, I get a paper cut on my finger and it's gonna bleed for
That was-
six,
that was
for 6
something where
years
at
because
work
it
and we
doesn't.
get
It's
cut.
such a small cut.
No, I
it's
think
gonna
it's
bleed
like
for
it
6
all
Well,
comes
we would
out
speed up the
quick.
process. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
This is. Let me read it again. Every time you cut yourself, all of your blood comes out, but you
Yeah.
don't die.
Yeah, all of your blood
Self-induced
has
cuts
to come out.
aren't a thing. We're not self-induced cuts. They are a thing. They're not referred to in this scenario.
No, say it again.
They're not referred to in this scenario. It's all like accidental cuts.
So if you fall and scrape your knee, but
All
you're
your
not
blood
gonna
comes out
gush
that
of
second.
your-
yes, you
Yes.
are in this
Oh.
in this alternate universe.
Oh,
yes, you
okay,
are.
then yeah.
Yeah.
You do that for $1 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
$1 million, but every time you fart, you have to stop, waft it into your face, and smell it dramatically.
Yeah.
Heck
I
yeah.
would do that. Yeah.
I do that now. No,
You're pretty smart for fart smelling.
The what?
I did that on purpose. You
Yeah.
never heard anybody
No, I haven't heard.
Nah,
anyone
no.
like, hey, you're a pretty smart feller, or but they're like make
Smart fart.
Smart feller. fart smell.
yeah,
Do you guys want like more? Like
a couple. To give it like 2 more.
Yeah.
$1 million, but every time you meet someone, you have to hug them for a full 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do that sometimes.
I'm a big
You're-
hug guy.
You are a hugger.
Let's be honest. Hey, a 30-second hug can turn sexual real quick.
All right. See,
Also, this
We're not thinking.
we
like
just said that I'm a big hugger, and then you're gonna make that comment.
A 30-second hug is super romantic. 30 seconds? That's a long hug. That's
Me and
cuddling.
Cooper are gonna
we're
hug
gonna-
for 30 seconds. We're gonna see if something happens.
That's not a hug. That's not a hug. That's not even a hug.
Oh,
Barely.
how is that not how?
Notice how that lasted for like 6 seconds?
Well,
Because it would have gotten awkward.
we
past that
we
point.
didn't need a full 30.
It says every time you meet someone, assuming this is someone new you've never met before.
well, yeah.
You
What the
don't know their
heck?
hygiene? They could be like sweaty from working out at the gym,
Dude, you're overthinking everything.
and I'm thinking it through properly. What are you talking
For the
about?
rest of your life,
I'm gonna cut my jugular and just gonna bleed out. What you're thinking?
Yeah, I would
go
do it.
quicker.
I
you're
would
not
do
very
it.
milk toast today.
Really?
Hugs with people you just met. I mean,
100%.
like they would probably feel like it's awkward too. It's not like they won.
I mean, then you find out if they're a genuine person. If they don't like that, then guess what? They're not gonna stay in your life. Maybe that breaks the ice too. Like, it can't get more awkward than that. So I mean, you're gonna be chilling
now. New
now.
employee at the store. I'm going to hug them for a full 30 seconds.
They have to be 18 years old.
My answer's no. My answer's no. I'm not doing that.
I'm going no. That's too much.
I,
If it was
That's one
If
of
it
the
was
ones that
Hudson
I'm.
for 5 seconds, yeah. If her 30 seconds, nah, absolutely not.
That's one of the like. There's somewhere I could go either way. That one I'm a firm yes, actually.
Respect.
$1 million, but for the rest of your life, anytime you go to the bathroom, it's live streamed.
No.
Stream.
Nope.
Is it gonna? Is the stream
No,
gonna cut in and
privacy.
out like my stream does, or like?
Privacy. Nah, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, what if I emphasize that it's like a ring camera in the top of the corner of the room?
And this
Why, Luke? Would you
better-
do this one?
life-changing money, Luke.
Luke has thought this one
You
through.
seem to be convincing us here.
Okay, and then last one, $1 million, but for 60 seconds, like a full minute every day, you go limp at a random time of day for 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Sure.
What about if you're driving?
Oh, that's a good point, Luke.
You said anytime we want to.
You paralyzed from the neck down. Is that what you're saying? You're a quadriplegic for,
You just ragdoll to the ground and you have to stay.
and
that
it's
way.
random.
Yeah, any like random point of the day, and it's for 60 seconds.
The driving thing's a great point. You
Yeah,
can't,
that
you
is a
can't say yes.
very
to that.
great
$1
point.
million, you may not be really driving much anywhere.
Yeah, guess what? If I murder
$1 million
somebody, that $1 million
isn't-
isn't gonna do anything if I'm charged for manslaughter.
Oh, I see.
But if it is a medical disease and
Then you shouldn't. Then you wouldn't have a license.
you don't have to tell him.
Done it.
though.
His daddy has the money to pay it off. So.
Oh my lord!
In the,
Oh,
word-
here we go about me being rich again.
in the words of Cooper, this
Your
is what happened to
parents
Patrick
being rich.
Mahomes Sr.
He doesn't fall asleep. He just
I mean, it can make you sleepy. It can make you sleepy.
Patrick Mahomes Sr. is becoming a friend of the show.
Three different podcasts we mentioned.
I think
on,
so.
we'll buy him a 12 case if he comes on.
All right, Luke. Let's do one more. We can't end on that.
I'll buy him a 12.
$1 million, but every 100th chew, you have to scream at the top of your lungs.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it would be annoying for everyone around me, but I mean, I would do it.
Why not?
I think so.
People already think I'm
That's
annoying.
for the
Why
rest
not
of your
do
life
it?
on that
Like,
one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Why not?
every 100th chew.
Yeah, it's valid.
Imagine just like every 100th chew.
would you do that one, Luke?
I don't chew.
Oh, me either. That, Mom, I promise.
Mom, I promise.
Kershaw.
I do that.
No comment.
All right, good audible, Luke. All right, next week you guys got to hold me accountable. I got to start saying all right.
All right.
Like,
All right.
All right.
All right, we'll hold you to that.
Well, all right in the podcast is fine, but all right after he says audible is awful. I got to
When
stop.
are we doing your polar plunge?
Listen, you guys got to hold me accountable
Next
to
week.
that also.
Next week.
All
right.
So cold.
Yeah, whenever
Next
you-
week.
All right, next week. We need a day where Luke can be there to film it. And
Should we just do Tuesday instead of filming that day?
nah, I still want an episode out next week.
So I'm gonna
Or
do-
Tuesday we could just do a long day and then.
I'm gonna be a
Then
dad
just
real
do
quick and
food.
say the wind chill's got to be at a good temperature. Like I'm not gonna have you jump into the water and then come
Yeah.
out and like get hypothermia because the wind chill's like 13 degrees.
Yeah, as a friend and a boss, I feel like you should.
Hold a towel for
We'll have hand warmers for him. We'll be all good.
Yeah, we can come up with a date when we're done done recording. Tuesdays, I'm not so sure about. Tuesdays at 4 classes, volunteer, and then this.
Could do like a Sunday, too.
Yeah, Sundays probably. We could do this Sunday technically. It's going to be the Sunday after my 21st, so
I'll wait.
Sure,
you
you
up.
might not
I'll
feel
wait.
the cold very
I-
much.
I don't know if that would help that or not, but all right. Back to the redraft, but Luke is right. We do need to get on that polar plunge because I lost the standings competition. Cooper, although wasn't a part of it, next year he's going to be a part of it. So we'll see if he has to do the next competition.
With his
Rock,
like
paper,
7
scissors,
and
you
like
have
or
to
6 and 10 record, that one.
All right. Next up,
Cooper with the Bills.
Cooper with the Bills.
Oh boy. Okay, so
Kincaid off the board.
yeah, I have noticed that Jack Campbell has not been picked yet, and with Tremaine Edmonds going, Tremaine, right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Tremaine Edmonds going to the Bears. I think that they need a replacement for him, and Milano being injured how he was this season. Obviously, they didn't know this then, but I'm picking Jack Campbell.
It's a good pick.
Yeah, and I think that teams up to be one of the most athletic linebacker duos and just talent. Jack Campbell, not an insane rookie year, but I think the talent's going to really flash in the next couple.
He was
of
solid. He
seasons.
was reliable.
Yeah. I think Ivan Pace is another name to watch out for off-ball linebacker. Cincinnati is up. They selected Miles Murphy, who in real life, this was a little bit of a slip for him. He still goes in the first round. A rather unimpressive rookie season. Looking at the edge rushers, I think Byron Young's the best available. Tyree Wilson, actually.
I'm
But
gonna say his name.
Could always go interior here too with Breesy.
well, I think Joe
Burrow's good.
Joe Burrow's health is really what it comes down to every season. And if he's healthy, they have a standing chance. He's really been the only kryptonite to Mahomes so far. I'm going to go with the tackle who was selected by Cleveland out of Columbus. He stays in Ohio in the redraft. DeJuan Jones, the guy's a monster. He's 6'8", 320. Insane rookie season. He was able to move. He played at right tackle. I think that's where he's best suited. However, he could move over to the left side, but I think our run on offensive linemen start going a little bit more here. I go DeJuan Jones. Anton Harrison was available, but DeJuan Jones, I think, separates himself.
Anton Harrison was the one with the really weird stance, right? With the when his leg was all the way back.
That was Jawan Taylor for the Chiefs.
Oh, was it?
Are you talking about the where it was like almost a false start?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, that was Jawan Taylor with the Chiefs.
Did DeJuan Jones do that a little too?
Well, DeJuan Jones probably
I don't
can't move
think
his
so.
leg all the way back. Or he's too big.
Yeah, his leg is probably like the size of my torso. Punt. All right. Saints, right?
Yep, Christian at the
Go on
Saints.
Tariq Stevenson, the corner out of Miami. He had a really solid rookie year. Honestly, when the Bears drafted him, I liked him, but I didn't think he was going to have as good as year with that. And also, I like their cornerback room, but he did really well with how good of a corner room that the Bears have. And I think the Saints need that because they only have Lattimore and a Debo, but Debo is like off and on.
Philadelphia's second pick. Josie, I gave you both of them on purpose.
Yeah.
Nolan Smith was the pick here. Who is it now?
Part of me wants to think that the Eagles would not want the Chiefs to get Smith and Jigba here, but that's not the pick that they're going to go. They have bigger needs. I do think I'm going to go with a similar position here to an edge guy, and I'm going to go with Lucas Van Ness. Surprised he kind of fell this far because he originally went to the Green Bay Packers.
Relatively
Yeah, like
early, too. In the
13?
13. So, like, I'm a little bit surprised that he fell because I remember people talking about, like, the Steelers potentially taking him and, like, a whole bunch of different stuff. Like, I think that Lucas Van Ness is kind of a steal here, to be honest with you. So, I'm going to go with that as my pick.
And I have the two-time defending Super Bowl champs, the Chiefs. They picked edge rusher Felix Anuduke Uzama, who was not impressive. It seemed like a little bit of a reach at pick 31, kind of like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The Chiefs, luckily, don't have very many needs every year, yet they somehow pick some random guy that surprises everyone with one of the last picks in the draft, in the first round of the draft. I am definitely not going to go there. And I'm sticking with the theme. I've been selecting my draft darlings. I'm looking at a draft darling still available right now. When the Chiefs needed receivers, I said maybe they should go another tight end. I'm going to go Michael Mayer. Josie was on Travis Kelce retiring. He's obviously coming back, but his time's limited. He's talking about how the injuries are starting to stack up, how the game doesn't feel the same anymore. But Super Bowls are a good cure to any injuries for any of the hard work. But Michael Mayer, I think that the Chiefs could benefit from going a 2 tight end, 2 wide receiver route. I don't like any of the receivers enough to go at pick 31. Rashee Rice, honestly, probably the next best guy available. But I'm going to go Michael Mayer. I was surprised that he made it out of the first round in real life, and he goes no.
So you
We
guys
can't
aren't
forget,
surprised that Smith and Jigba fell? You guys aren't surprised that Smith and Jigba fell
I am.
first?
I am.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, I feel like
Yeah.
that's probably maybe the most surprising name left on this list to me is Smith and Jigba.
I thought you were picking.
I mean, we have to remember,
between
he
him and the
broke his
Saints.
hand too.
Smith and Jigba?
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
So, I mean,
I think that he's the third receiver on the depth chart with 2 guys that right now are more established than him, but I think he could still be a guy.
I was between.
Oh,
him
no,
and- I
but-
was between him with the Saints, but I think Saints need more defense
Yeah.
because they're too old on that side.
And this is only 1 year in. Like a lot of, if we do this 5 years from now, which is something that we're looking at doing in the future episodes with doing other redrafts, this will be completely different in a couple years. JSN was the guy that you mentioned as a snub. Is there anybody else who stands out?
Avila, the guard. that the Rams drafted. I thought he was going to go.
Yeah, the guys I had as honorable mentions. Obviously, I had Dwan Jones on there. I wasn't sure if he was going to go or not, but I had him on my list on my draft board. Juice Scruggs. I know centers don't typically go that high, but he had a sneaky good season. I think Juice Scruggs.
Shout out Prep. Shout out Prep.
Yeah, fellow Erie native.
Dude, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Like, I was shocked.
Let's get him on the pod.
Yes,
He had a
yes.
sneaky good season. We'll shout out our hometown on that one. And then I thought this guy might go because we're a bunch of Yinzers, but Nick Herbig had a pretty good season for limited snaps. Not a first round guy, I get it, but like I thought maybe he might sneak in at like
how
a really
maybe,
late pick.
but-
Cooper started the draft with Joey Porter like that. I was shocked.
Did we only have one edge rusher selected the whole entire?
No, I took Will McDonald and
Will Anderson and Will McDonald are the only ones.
I took Lucas Van Ness.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so
you
I took all three.
Yeah, so you carried there.
Yeah.
Edge kind
that's
of this
wild.
year was kind of like
But there were a ton of other edge guys that we
Yeah.
just did not pick. We mentioned Byron Young, Miles Murphy, Tyree Wilson,
Yeah.
top 10 pick.
I was
didn't
shocked.
go.
The
I thought you
guy
took
from the
Tyree
Chargers,
Wilson.
Tuilopo, the young guy. I thought one of you guys would pick him.
We picked no interior offensive lineman. Except if
I
you
did
want to say Skronsky is.
He is
but-
a guard though.
He is
Blake
now.
Skoronsky would be the only one.
That's why I was
Which-
shocked Avila didn't go.
I don't think any guards went in real life. Definitely no centers went. I think John Michael Schmitz was the first center for the Giants.
Right.
But Matthew Bergeron was a guy maybe, but Nolan Smith. I mean, didn't really get on the field with that loaded Philly front, but a 4.39. I mean, that's impressive for any position. Definitely an
And he
edge
tore his
rusher.
ACL too. Or something.
He was somebody I was thinking about with that Cowboys pick, but I was just like, they already have that super athletic linebacker guy coming off the edge. I was like, I didn't know if they would try to replicate a Micah Parsons pick there that late, but like, I just think that a nice compliment to Micah Parsons' speed could be a power guy. Like, I don't know.
Just another quick look. Any of the quarterbacks that were there, any of the running backs, and any of the other skill positions, even some of the guys that showed promise, I don't think any of them were first round worthy. We do have a couple cornerbacks who were selected in the first round that did not go, who Emmanuel Forbes didn't play that bad. So he's a guy who Deontay Banks, I don't think would have, I think we're correct on that one, but a little surprised about Forbes. The only other guy I'm going to mention on here that probably should have been picked, Ivan Pace. We only had one off-ball linebacker picked, and I think Ivan Pace might have been undrafted originally. So people are still coming around to him. The Vikings don't get a ton of national games and spotlight. I think he's a name to kind of watch over these next couple of years. He could become a guy.
Ivan Pace was undrafted.
He was.
I have him on the Wikipedia up here from Cincinnati.
All right. So surprise segment 2 for you guys to pick from. We can only do one of them. Would you guys rather go over NFL.com's potential cap casualties, or would you rather look at their potential Bears trade packages for the number 1 overall pick? Because news did come out that they are expected to make their decision in the next week. They're not going to decide to draft a quarterback. They're not going to decide which quarterback after the combine. That's still too early. To me, this is more of a Justin Fields decision. Social media activities following some teams that are rumored to be with him and the players. We're Steelers fans. He is following the Steelers. He unfollowed the Bears.
Trade.
Fields?
I think it's a last minute thing. Like we're like, all right, what's going on? And then right when the clock starts, I think that's when it happens.
I disagree. I think Fields goes
Yeah.
beforehand. I don't think that a team's going to be patient enough. You want to know who your quarterback is. The Falcons and the Steelers, he's following players and the teams. He unfollowed the Bears, so that is something to watch. Do you guys want to we kind of went over some cut casualties and franchise tag potential.
I think I'd rather do that than the draft. I mean, the
Let's do-
trade stuff.
Yeah, so let's do the Bears or which one?
Let's do the Bears.
Bears? That's
Bears.
Bears.
All right. So the first one is a trade package to Washington. The Bears would receive this year's first round pick, which is the number 2 overall, this year's 36 overall pick, second rounder, their other second rounder, 40th overall, and then a third round comp pick.
For
I'll
Fields.
go.
No, for the first overall pick.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
So moving up one spot.
I think they got more last year for Bryce Young, and
Yeah.
so I would probably lean against that. I don't think that would be a good deal.
I would be leaning towards it.
Really?
Yes. You're only moving back one spot, and the controversy
That's actually a-
that's a
between
valid point.
Caleb Williams and Drake May, this could be a very loaded QB
Jaden
draft.
Daniels.
and
so
Jaden
if
Daniels.
the
yes.
Commanders are trading up
And
that one
McCarthy,
spot,
there's news
they
about
are
McCarthy.
going to take Caleb Williams.
They
So it's
will,
like,
McCarthy
yes.
is
do you
not
think
top
that either of the next two guys
McCarthy's
are going to
going
be your
top
guy to
10,
take it
maybe
to?
top
I don't
Or do you
know.
keep
Yeah, but
trading
he's
back?
not a top 3.
I don't know.
Might be
But
Jane Daniels.
The Bears can do anything with this pick. I mean, they get 2 second rounders out of this too. Look who the Steelers have gotten in the second round.
Bears are the Steelers.
Yeah.
Steelers.
I had to mention the
Steelers.
Steelers.
Borderline dropped better in the second round than they do the first.
Not borderline. I think. I feel
I was
like we
trying to be
might.
generous. Like
That's a good like TikTok idea. They definitely they're killers on day 2.
I know we're talking about the Bears, but even as Washington, I wouldn't do it because also if you're Washington Point, that team's horrible too. Just keep your picks and then just draft and make your team that you want. And that's what Peters would do. I'm pretty sure because that's where he came from, San Francisco.
Whoa.
He did that.
That one's yeah.
All right, so this one is kind of out there. Christian, I'm going to read it to you. So the Bears for the first overall pick and running back Khalil Herbert are going to get the 8th overall pick this year, Bijan Robinson, a 3rd round pick this year, next year's 1st round pick, and then a 2nd round pick 2 years from now.
People are stupid.
I mean, if I'm Chicago, moving down
Yes,
7th
I'm
spot,
signing the paper right here if I'm Chicago.
I would do it.
Yeah,
I
but
think.
Chicago for sure you gotta do that.
This one's a Madden trade. This one's not going to happen, but.
Oh my gosh, dude.
That's pretty much 3 firsts you have
know
there,
people
with
don't know
Bijan
football.
included.
that's a Madden trade if you only pass the ball. Like you don't run the ball and you're the Falcons. So you're like, okay, I need to get a quarterback and I'm trying to get rid of Bijan because he's never going to touch the ball.
I mean, Tyler Algier's there. Tyler Algier and Khalil Herbert. You could do work. I don't.
Whoever made that, they don't know.
all right.
Instead of Khalil Herbert, throw in Darnell Mooney, and now we're talking. Because then you're still pass offense.
All
Or
right.
Darnell Wright to protect your pass offense.
Darnell Wright went in our redraft, right?
Nope.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. I think I
See-
picked him.
Darnell Wright went to the Jags. Hayden took
Yeah,
him with
so-
the Jags.
All right, 2 more that they laid out for us. The Bears for the first overall pick receive the number 3 overall pick from New England, the 2nd round 34 overall this year, and then next year's 1st round, 3rd round 2 years from now.
I mean, that's a win for New England. I think they're.
I think that's a win for New
They're not
England.
giving up like anything.
I mean, it's only to move up 2
franchise.
spots, but I think that's a win for New England too. If I'm being honest, you're not giving up all that much.
Yeah, what's the better deal, this or Washington, you think?
Washington.
Or Washington. Well, Washington had 2 seconds this year, didn't it?
Washington's is more realistic because of Kingsbury, I think. Like, I think
Yeah.
part of the reason he didn't sign with the Raiders is because they weren't going to trade up or even try to get Caleb Williams.
I don't know. I know you're only moving up 1 spot, but only getting not getting any 1st round picks in addition from the trade makes me feel like New England's a better deal.
Yeah.
I don't love either one of them, but
I mean, New England's going to be horrible this year. There's no way they have more than
They could
5
attack
wins.
free agency. I'm not saying they're going to be good, but like they could attack free agency.
They're rich.
And like, I don't know. Who's there? Did they name a GM since Bill left?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that I feel like they did.
See, I
Here,
must
you
have
wanna-
missed
go
it.
ahead and
I'll look
Google
it.
it.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
This is the deal that if I'm Chicago, I love. The New York Giants trade up number 1 overall for the number 6 overall pick. So you're moving back 5 spots. The 39th overall
Wait,
pick
who?
this year.
What?
The Giants. So a 1st and a 2nd this year, a 3rd this year, and then a 1st rounder in 2025 and 2026. So you're moving back 5 spots. You're gaining 2 firsts, 1 second, and 1 third. I like this deal better.
It really depends on where they want to go with this first because realistically, Marvin Harrison, I don't think he's going to be available at 6.
But they don't need Marvin Harrison.
If you're
This
going up to number
receiver's
1, you're taking a
nuts.
quarterback.
It's
If you're-
depending
you're
on if
taking
they
the
wanna
number
keep-
1 spot, you're taking a
So quarterbacks would be the top 2 because the Giants would go quarterback, probably Caleb Williams. Then Washington goes either Jaden Daniels or Drake May. Number 3 would be New England, probably a quarterback unless they go Marvin Harrison. So, but if they do go Marvin Harrison, you still have a chance to land the third quarterback, whether that's Drake May or Jaden Daniels, or you can keep Justin Fields.
Did Fields play with Marvin Harrison?
I think it would have been
a
like
year of overlap, but Marvin Harrison didn't play that
He
year.
didn't play it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So
we've actually had that
they-
discussion.
Yeah, they were there for a
he was
year,
on the
but
roster,
they didn't. Yeah,
But they didn't. Yeah, because they still had Olave, JSN, and
and Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
And yeah, I mean they've been stacked for so many years at receiver that like Marvin Harrison didn't really play for like a year and a half, right, or something like that.
Marvin Harrison came in because of
Yeah.
JSN's injury,
Yeah,
and that's what. And then he just popped off too.
the Patriots' new GM is Elliot Wolf. He has been with a couple different teams, mostly with the Green Bay Packers in some capacities from 2004 until 2017, as everything from director of football operations to assistant director of player personnel. He was with the Browns, with the Patriots as a consultant since 2020.
What year was he with the Browns?
With the Browns, 2018 to 2019. So I think
So
that's
he
two.
drafted Baker.
Yeah, that sounds.
He was a
that
part
sounds
of the
right.
team that drafted Baker.
And then he was with New England as the director of scouting from 2022 until the present. He has one Super Bowl championship.
Wish we could flip the camera right now to Luke. He's posing like my French girls. But
Enjoying the show.
all
Join that
right,
beanbag.
before we one last question before we wrap it up, rapid fire, just because you brought it up. Ohio State wide receiver, you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think LSU has an argument, but Ohio State's just on a different level, especially recently. Cooper,
Yeah.
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 All right, good episode, guys. So need to talk about that polar plunge, but we'll do that off camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see you guys next week. This has been the Second and Short podcast.